Dan Skirpan, JVC Professional Video National Sales Manager Sports. You are the face of sports at JVC, so good to see you as always. Give us a little bit of an update. We were just chatting a little bit about the COVID pandemic, and I guess you guys have seen a lot of success as far as your camcorders. I mean, were you kind of surprised at what happened, and why was that success? What was the key to that?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me on. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think we got a little bit on the luckier side because of our streaming capabilities and our lower end cameras, along with our mid-range cameras. We saw a lot of success in churches, in some of the high school sports, when fans aren't allowed in the stadium or anything like that. So we were able to stream, and we're one of the few, if not only, professional camera that actually has the one push to touch to Facebook and to YouTube. So with being able to do that and not having another computer or anything like that, it really helped us along in that market in the sense of that.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So yeah, I guess it's interesting because when you think back to the pandemic when it started, obviously the key was smaller crews and how do you do a show without having to run a lot of cable and all that kind of stuff. So these camcorders are just right in the sweet spot. So as far as like what kind of connectivity is in them, basically?
So in our smaller cameras, and when I say smaller, I'm talking about the lower ones, like the 180 cameras and our 250 cameras. You have to use a USB interface. So you can have a USB to Ethernet or USB to Wi-Fi, and you connect to your internet, and you're up and running. Especially with the one touch available capabilities as well. On our middle range into our larger cameras, we have an Ethernet jack built into it. And some of our cameras do have Wi-Fi built into them, or you still use the USB capabilities.
Excellent, great. And there's no need for any kind of backpacks or external encoders or what have you, right? As far as
no, absolutely not. Yeah, that's something that the encoder is actually built into the camera itself.
That's great. That's great. So do you have any kind of, I know usually NAB would have been happening this time of year, and I know historically, the Japanese manufacturers are very, very tightly controlled as far as new product announcements, but do you have any sense on what may be coming? You mentioned Facebook. I mean, are there other things that you think are on the wish list and the hit list?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just going to keep, to be honest, we're keep adding on to the 900 and the 500 camera, the connected series cameras. We're just going to keep adding to that, which is something that's nice with the cameras, is that they're all, I guess they're firmware or firmware based.
Right.
So when we see something that we need to change or anything like that, we can actually send the updates free to everybody. We actually, since COVID hit, we actually did release our SRT protocol. And just to give you an example of what we were talking about with the SRT, when we first released it, we had like the 2-second delay or a 1.5-second delay that was in it. We worked on it hard enough and everything like that. And we actually got it down. We're calling it low latency now. And again, it all depends on your network and everything like that, but we can squash it down pretty good for the latency on that. And then we also added the synchronization, so we can actually synchronization with our SRT as well.
Oh, great.
Again, that's all based off of some of the new stuff that we were coming up with.
Sure.
I think I answered your question.
Yeah. So, well, what's your sense on, obviously, fall sports is going to return with a little bit of luck and a lot of discipline. What's your sense as far as, the high school market and the college market? What are you hearing out there as far as the demand for production tools?
Yeah, so I feel like streaming is not going away anytime soon. I think this was a real big eye opener for a lot of people. So in my mind, I think we're gonna have fans in the stands, maybe not as many as but it's gonna be more than what we've had. But the streaming is still gonna happen, and it's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned into a paid service, more of a paid service than a free service versus the YouTube and the Facebook.
Right.
They're gonna find a way to monetize that a little bit more for them to, obviously to help them make more money.
Sure. Now, have you seen your systems deployed in people's homes and such for like studio shows or coaches shows, or is that happening?
Yeah. So it's funny you actually say this. People have reached out to me, like grandparents and dads and stuff like that. They're like, hey, we need to find a way to stream our son's baseball games or stream our wrestling matches and stuff like that. So again, so with our 250 SP and our 500 SPC, we can actually do graphics that's actually built into the cameras. So now, so what I'm seeing now is a lot of mom and pops actually really trying to get into this production world. And to be honest, every weekend somebody calls me and said, hey, can I make this a little bit better or something like that? So yeah, so we're definitely seeing a lot of that. And with the graphics built into our cameras and being able to interact with Sportscast, it's really driving it home for the single camera shoot, right?
Right.
We are seeing a little bit, because we also do have some switchers. So we also have some like 4-camera switchers that actually interact wirelessly, again, with the SRT or Zixi or NDI.
Right. That's great. It's so cool to see, JVC really kind of finding your sweet spot in the sports market, because I know, so reliant on the TV station market for years and years and years. So it's really cool to see this market kind of supplementing that a lot. So
yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's great. Great to see you as always, Dan. And we'll see you this fall somewhere.
Yeah, sounds good.